Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. We are in the garage again today, and today we're going to attempt to install the all new CHIGEE AIO-6 on the Ducati Desert X. Now you may have recalled, or you may have seen my recent video which I put up on YouTube, and that was the first video that was published globally on the CHIGEE AIO-6, and it's hit around 10,000 views by now, so thank you all for your support. Anyway, that video I detailed all the functions and all the what comes in the box and how you expand the module and how you use it and so on. In this video we're going to focus on actually installing it on one of the motorcycles. So the motorcycle of choice today is the Ducati Desert X. As you are aware, the CHIGEE AIO-6 comes with various mounting kits, so you can actually allows you for ease of movement between one motorcycle to another. At the moment what I've got here is the AIO-6 with the quick release mount installed, because I'm going to put it on the Ducati, and that just allows easy changeability. And if I want to actually move it to my BMW, all I need to do is remove the mount, put on the BMW bracket on, and off it goes on the BMW. Now I can't actually install the cameras and everything on the BMW yet, because CHIGEE has a bit of a backlog on the actual mounting cable for the BMW, and for that sake I'm actually starting off today on doing it on the Ducati Desert X. And I think this will be a really good video for you, because there's some tips and tricks here on how you find out the auxiliary points and so on this motorcycle, and how we actually have a successful install on a motorcycle like this. Now remembering, this isn't just specific, you can use all the notes that you would get from this video on any bike out there, because the principles are going to remain essentially the same, with some minor differences which are bike specific, and we'll talk about that as we move forward in the video. Alright, so now let's talk about what are the items we're going to be needing for this install. Now before we actually do this, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscription button down below. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything, it helps the channel. And also, CHIGEE is currently on the Kickstarter. The AIO-6 is currently on the Kickstarter program, so I think that goes on for another couple more weeks depending on when this video is released. If you want to purchase one of these units, I've got my affiliate links down below. Now that'll give you a 25% discount on your purchase on Kickstarter, but also what it does is it gives me a kickback as well, which significantly helps the channel. Now if you are watching this video after the whole Kickstarter program, then there would be, I will add in some codes in the description section below, whereby it'll have the specific discount codes and affiliate links for you to purchase, and that will give you at least a minimum of 10% discount for your purchase. So that is also will be available in the description section below, so make sure you check that out and do use my links if you decide to purchase the item. So now coming back to the motorbike, what we're going to do today is, obviously we've got the CHIGEE AIO-6 here. We're also going to attempt to install the OBD module on the Ducati Desert X. Now this will actually allow the CHIGEE device to read data off the native sensors in the motorcycle. So it reads off the OBD module, and it will transfer whatever native data onto the CHIGEE AIO-6, which adds a bit more functionality to your rides as well. Now this again is a Euro 5 compatible cable. If your bike is a Euro 4, then unfortunately it won't work, but Euro 5, this is what it is. Alright, we've got the mounting bracket that goes on the handlebar. I've got the TPMS sensors as well, which I'm going to put on. I've got the remote control, which I'm also going to add on. We've got the wiring harness kit that is here. I've got the mounting brackets for the remote. And last but not least, I've got the quick release mount with the camera. Now this one here, it's actually quite simple. Essentially you've got the whole mounting quick release mount there, and it splits into 3 different points here. The 2 yellow ones or orange ones are for your camera, the front and the rear camera. It's labeled so you know which is which, and then the red port here is for your power, which essentially just connects this to that, and then we run it through. So with that, let's get to the install. Okay, so back on the bike. Now as you can see, I've already got the mounting bracket installed here on the motorcycle. I didn't feel that it was important for me to show you how that's done. It's actually quite self-explanatory. That's been installed. I've just left it a bit loose here so I can put the actual quick release mount later on. But what I've also done is I've actually run the mounting, the power cable as well. So just to give you a bit of context, I've actually got 2 units here, but essentially this is a spare unit that CHIGEE has sent me. Essentially what you have is you've got the main red one which powers into the quick release mount, and then you've got 3 ports at the end, which is a positive, negative, and an auxiliary point here, which you need to find a port on the motorcycle, which we will talk about. So what I've actually done here is I've actually routed the cable just underneath the tank. Now there are various ways of doing this, and you will have to figure out what's the best way. We lifted out the tank only slightly so that we could route the cables, and I'm just going to put this here temporarily for now, and essentially the cables have gone through and it's gone under the tank slightly, and now we have got it just here so that it's running, it's very nicely covered, and it's not going to obstruct or affect any of the handling. So you want to move your handlebars to make sure that the cables are not in the way. Now there's various ways of doing it. Some people will prefer to remove the whole tank and so on. It's really up to you, but just as a guide, you want to run the cables under your tank. Now once you do that, you're going to plug in the positive and the negative in the right. So I've actually disconnected both the power ports here for now. The most important part here is this yellow cable. To find the actual port is actually quite cumbersome on the Ducati. So what we figured out an easy way of doing this, which is in the fuse box here, you've actually got a 15 ampere fuse, right? So when you remove this fuse, if you can somehow just gently put this in there like so, and then you clip the fuse on like so, that should cover it. So the reason why we use 15 amperes is just because it's got higher resistance, and once that goes in, you can close this back gently, and that should cover the yellow part. So remember, for the auxiliary power, you want to use the 15 ampere fuse there. There's no right or wrong. Ducati have also got a special harness kit that you can buy for about 15 euros from a bike thing, and they go to the front. I really don't think you need to spend that much money. This is an easy way. And then the next part is just to connect this. So let's connect this now.
G'day folks. So we're now going to do the, now which way around is it, Gerby, again? I always get this wrong.
It's a bit of a...
So taking off, you said it was a negative off first. I'm sure we're going to get this wrong.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be bombarded by comments. Do you know what the hell you're doing?
It probably doesn't matter. We just need to make sure that we don't short circuit it.
And blow all the fuses on the bike, and then I won't be able to get home. I have to stay with you over the night. But I think it's the other, so I think it's the positive first. Okay, so here's the, so what do we need? Do we need this? Yeah, okay. We're in business. So we'll put that through there.
So that's the positive in.
Like so. Do that up. Now we put that, Gerby, you've already put that yellow wire into the 15 amp fuse.
So that should work.
Connection part, yeah, so that should work. So,
no, not that one.
No, this one. Getting my wires mixed up. This one. So there we go. Okay, so we should be in business now.
So that's all done
with that.
Okay, so Graham has kindly showed us how we connect the cables. Now look up the positive and the negative. I always get it mixed up. As long as you don't short circuit it, it's fine. So we've got the positive in there, the negative here, and we've got the auxiliary one. So what the auxiliary one cable here, why, if you don't plug this auxiliary cable in, the device will not start up. And the use of having this is actually so that when you turn the engine off, it actually powers off the device. So you need that so that it doesn't drain your battery. Alright, so now that we have done that, all we need to now go ahead and do is we need to plug in or mount the mounting bracket and the camera. So we need to figure out how we're going to route the cameras. Now again, this is again very subjective, where you want to place your camera, how you want to place them, how you decide to run them. They are all very subjective, but just to show you how easy it is at this stage is essentially this was the power cable that we talked about, the power side of things. Now that just goes into this harness here, and then it's watertight, waterproof, so you just screw it in like so. Once that's done, this ball joint goes into here like so, and once that's in, so you just screw this in, probably just hand tight for now, because you might want to do a bit of adjustments later on. So, and give it an even force on both sides, top and bottom. Alright, so that's finger tight for now. So this, I'm happy with how the bracket sits here for now, and then later on we can sort of come back and we can actually decide to tighten it.
Yeah.
Now another point also, this has also got an anti-theft screw at the back. So if you look here, this right here, there's a tool that comes in the box. They've got this anti-theft tool that comes in the box. Now if you actually put this in and you screw this in like so, this is spring loaded, right? So once you screw it, that actually prevents you from actually releasing it, and then you can actually put that on and undo it. Now you don't have to worry about the screw flying off, because it's actually recessed in and there's actually spring loaded, so when you undo that, it allows you to remove it.
That's a nice feature.
That's a nice feature that they've got. So for now, that's fine. Now what we're going to do next is we're just going to quickly route the cables for the cameras, and we're good to go. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm mounting the front camera. Now as you can see, Graham's bike here he's got this really good crash bars, and it so happens that this spot under the main mounting joint here, there seems to be an exact space there, just like it's like it's made for a camera to be mounted, and so it just goes in there. And as you can see, with full handle lock here, that your fork isn't actually interfering any way with the actual camera on both sides. So even if you turned it this way, it's got about one finger clearance there.
Oh, that's perfect.
Which is good.
Yeah.
And then all we need to do now is route this cable. We just need to cable tie it to a spot there, just so that it's out of the way.
Here's the forks.
Like this, and then it'll be out of the way.
Triple clamp.
And this allows you to actually adjust the camera as well, because there will be some adjustments that you need to do.
Nice.
And once you're done, you just tighten the Torx screw. So remember that with CHIGEE, everything is Torx. Everything is Torx, and it's security ones as well. So that's done for the front. So now all we need to do is the rear camera. So let's go figure out how we're going to mount that one. Alright guys, as you can see, we have now this is the rear camera cable, routed it under the tank from the side. It's now running through here. Now this needs to be tidied up. We will tidy this up down the track and sort of this cable tie them. But it looks like these cameras are made for the Ducati. So what I'm going to do here is just under the bash plate here, I'm just going to give this a bit of a clean. I've got a bit of alcohol clean here. Let's do that. And essentially the plan is to mount this bracket just somewhere here like so, and then the camera will just sit underneath here, giving you the perfect view. Now to do so, I've already got the 3M tape on. So Graham, you reckon inside a little bit?
Yeah, just so the bag doesn't
so probably here.
hit it.
Yeah, that looks like that'll be a good spot.
Yeah, that's fine.
It takes about a day for it to properly cure, but it's not like we've got 10 kilos of weight on it, so it's probably fine just for a little tiny camera. But essentially now all we do is this thing goes in there, and then I've got my bolt and nut, screw and nut. There's a lot of people correcting me on YouTube about
But between your bolts and your screws.
my bolts and my screws.
Yeah.
Really doesn't matter. You know what I mean.
You shouldn't mix your screws with your bolts.
So what is this, a bolt or a screw?
Well, a bolt goes with a nut.
Okay, so this is a bolt and a nut.
Yeah.
So again,
Nut or a nut and bolt.
just finger tight it for now, and then this sort of gives you enough movement, you know, for you to angle it down. So that's done. That's the rear camera in place, nice and stealth.
Yes.
Good, very well done.
Yeah,
All right.
very neat.
Now for the final side of the things, let's connect the AIO-6 and we should be all good. Okay, so now with all the cameras and everything routed, I hope the audio was alright, because I realized that our microphones was in the wrong placement, but it should be fine. Nevertheless, now that the cables are all routed, it's all about some cable management and cable tidy here. So if you look at the Ducati, it's got this pouch at the side here, which I can sort of put my cables there, here on the side, then I can just cable tie them at the corner here, and they should be they're not going to go anywhere once they are put in there. And then what Graham is going to do is he's going to just tidy up all of this, cable tie them, and the last part then is just to attach the unit, putting the OBD sensor, and we should be good to go.
Yeah,
so let's do that.
and we're there.
Okay, so we have done all the cable management, so let's just show you what we've done so far. A lot of elbow grease here. Alright, so back, the front camera is mounted, the cables are routed underneath, so it's not interfering with the forks or anything like that, so that's done. And then as you can see from the quick release mount, that's the cable. It's gone into the original harness that comes with the bike, runs through underneath, and the cables are just sitting there and they're all tidy. Then it runs through underneath the tank. It comes here. Graham has very elegantly done some really professional level cable management, as you would expect. So that's done really neat. And then we've got the rear camera placed here, again giving it enough room for adjustment. I think that'll be a good spot there.
Neat,
yeah, so that's all done essentially, and now all we need to do is put a few more bits and pieces, the OBD module, the remote control, and the TPMS system. So let's do that. Before we connect all the other bits and pieces, we have to make sure that we're actually going to be able to power the device. So quick release, really simple, goes in one way, like so, and then it clips in. There you go, that's done. So with this, now, because I've not mounted it tightly, so now this gives me a placement of how I want. I think this will be like sort of the sweet spot at the moment of what I'd like to, where I like it to sit. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and tighten this. Alright, so this is tightened to a level that I like. Now you can see that the screen is powered off, so that's a good sign. That means that it's not draining the battery power. So essentially now when I turn on the engine, or when I turn the ignition on, the unit should power up, which is what we want. We want the unit to power up. When the ignition is on, there we go. We've got the lean sensor on there. We've got several views there, and then go back to home, and now I can actually see my cameras. That's the front camera and the rear camera.
Way, excellent. Look at that. Look at that.
It is currently upside down, so we might need to adjust that. So let's do the rear one first. So no, that's not right.
No, that's just
Like so.
nearly. Yep.
So that's right.
Yep.
The back. And then we do the front. No. The other way around.
Yes. That's
Yep.
it. Yeah.
That's right. And then
Yep.
you can angle it up.
Might want to.
maybe.
Yep. Yep.
There we go.
That's about perfect.
Angled.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Excellent.
So
Yeah, no, that was so easy. It was more fiddly than hard. It was
Yeah.
just a little bit fiddly
yeah,
with the wires and that.
so the camera is in there. So that's all done. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to install the OBD sensor, which is this bit here. All right. So I've got the OBD module here, and all I do is I plug it into the port here, like so. Hang on. Yep, that way. Clips in. You can see this is starting to power on, and then you can sort of mount it or get it secured. But in here, if I go into the screen here and under features, you can see OBD pair is detected at OBD, and it's paired. So we got the OBD paired now. So essentially when I go into the screen, it's going to read off the data. You can see how it says OBD, which means it's going to read off the data from the Ducati, and we'll talk about we'll address that shortly. But the other thing now we want to pair is the remote. So here we have the remote. Now this remote is battery operated. You've got a charging point here, so you can charge it when the battery is low. Now to turn it on, you press OK, it starts to flash. Now again in here you go OK, go into features, and then there's the remote controller there, and you hit pair, press any button, and it's connected. So that's the remote done.
Action.
Okay, so we've got the remote control installed, and now last but not least is just the tire pressure monitoring system that we're going to put in, and then we can give the engine a start. So now you can see that it's sort of started up the device. It's back to the camera. Just before that, just wanted to go into some of the features here, and under more there's this function called camera switching, which I want to turn on because I've got the cameras. What that does is when you are below a certain speed, I think it needs to be about 10 kilometers an hour, that will automatically turn on the camera so that you actually have your rear view available for you. That's just the Android Auto kicking in. I'll just turn that off for now. So I'm going to turn the camera switching on. Rest reminder, you can turn that off. That's just going to annoy you. And then under the features section, it's a tire pressure monitoring. And here you can see it's not paired, and I'm going to pair. So ETS and ITS, ET for external, IT for internal. So it's going to be external, select external. So you can see it's blinking now. So all we do is we take one of these tire pressure sensors, and all we do is we screw it on. There is a security nut there, which you have to tighten on later on, but for the purpose of this video, you screw that on, and that should have paired. So if we move back to here, you can see that it's paired the front, it's reading the PSI and the temperature, and now it's flashing for the back. And all you do is we do the same for the back. And that's in. So it's got the TPMS, the front and the back there. So if you've got the units in PSI, you can change it to bar. You've got the low pressure and high pressure value, so you can change that. So the back, the high pressure, I'll probably leave it at about, say, 43.5. And sorry, this is the For the back, for the low pressure volume, we want to leave it at say 20 psi for low pressure, and for the front low pressure we want to leave it say at about, I don't know, grams 16, 15.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Maybe 16.
Yeah.
All right. And for the high pressure for the front, we probably leave it at about say 40. The Ducati runs pretty high pressure, so we can leave it at 40 for the front. And you can tweak this to whatever you like. And for the back, we say we leave it at 46, for example. And then obviously we've got the temperature in Celsius there. This doesn't seem to be a way for you to adjust the warning for the temperature. I think CHIGEE has disabled it. So
that's what we were talking about previously, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like on this version, they've now disabled that warning.
Yeah. So you can have a warning for the...
Which was quite annoying.
Yeah, you can have a warning for the PSI, for the tire pressure, but the temperature is just basically for viewing purposes, just for information. It's not going to warn you, because people were finding it a bit annoying where it starts to alarm if you don't get the right temperature. So I think that's probably a good thing. So anyway, that's all done. So with that, we've got the remote control connected. Now, if you look here, that we've got that icon there. That icon basically is saying that my Android Auto is now connected. And it's got the GPS here, and it's also got the network there with 2 bars. Because this is the LTE model, I've actually got the SIM card in there that gives me data connectivity. Right? Okay, so this is going to be a bit noisy, but essentially, just to give you an idea, the bike is now connected. Now if I press this and switch the modes, this is actually reading from the OBD sensor. As the revs of the bike go up, so does the actual revs here as well. It's reading lean angle from the actual motorcycle, from the actual device. It's got the engine temperature from the OBD. It's got the tire pressure from the OBD. It's got the battery voltage from the OBD as well. So when you click to this view, this is actually measuring the lean angle from the actual device, not necessarily from the OBD. But here, it's measuring from the OBD. So when I rev the bike, you can see that that's also moving as well. So we are done. We have installed the unit. The bike is all tidied up now. Just powering on the unit, as you can see. It's been wired correctly. The cameras are all done. The wiring and everything is all done. So, as you guys are aware, I did mention in my previous video that I am one of the early adopters for the AIO-6, and we are actively testing the unit. Now, I just recently updated it to a test version, 0.8.7, a beta test version. And unfortunately, with that version, it's actually done something to my 4G connectivity. I can't seem to connect to my 4G. Now, because of that, I can't actually demonstrate to you some of the remote functionalities that the device has. Nevertheless, when I get the harness for the BMW, I can then talk about some of those remote functionalities and how you look at your anti-theft monitoring and all that. This is just a software glitch, and I'm sure CHIGEE will update the software glitch very soon, and then we should be able to be using it as per usual. Now, just to give you a bit of context, the main idea of this video was to mainly talk about how we installed it, the ease of installation. So I would rate the installation at about maybe difficulty level at about 6/10. It's not really that hard. As long as you know which wires to put where, it's all fine. Now, with having those extra stuff like the remote, that makes connection of the device really easy. Now this screen here is the OBD screen, which gives you your speed and so on, your lean angle, which is from the device. The voltage comes from the OBD. Tire pressure is from the external tire pressures that we have got. I'm not sure what ETOS is, and I'm not sure what IAT is. It's probably the engine temperature, and here at the bottom we've got an engine temperature, and this is probably external temperature. I'm not sure what that actually is, but it's definitely coming from the OBD from the Ducati. Now every bike is going to be a bit different, the range here and the total. So what I did realize though, that the OBD sensor is not reading the kilometers as in your total mileage from the OBD. It's because the connectivity or the language between the CHIGEE device and the actual what Ducati wants to send over. So maybe that will be rectified in future updates. Nevertheless, Android Auto is easily connectable with the remote. I can just switch between screens. So this goes into the main screen, press that, brings me into one of these menu screens here with all the settings, and then that, so I can go into this view here, which gives you the lean angle, and that is basically measured from the actual device itself, not from the motorcycle. It doesn't come from the OBD. The next screen here is another different menu screen or a different page here, whereby it gives you the RPM. So when the bike is turned on and as you rev the bike, this thing will also turn blue to match the revs. It gives you your speed in kilometers per hour, gives you all the other information. As I said to you, the trip meter here, that doesn't seem to work with the Ducati. I'm not sure why, but with the BMW it works fine. So I think that's because of how, as I mentioned earlier, how what data the OBD sensor sends over to the CHIGEE, right? So with that, that's basically it, guys. So we've got the screens there, we've got the remote here. Now this brings you into your, if you press the remote again on this button here, it brings you into your rear camera. You press it again, it takes a picture for you, and then you can sort of swipe if you like the front camera. You can swipe again, and this is, you got two views there and so on. And then if you want to go back, use the remote. It lets you take video now. You can stop taking video, and just a bit of playing around with the remote really. And then in the settings button here, you can go and look at things like resolution, how many frames per second, video length, collision lock, and so on. You can also access your files for your recordings that you have done so far. So you've got some files here. If you want to play them back, you can play them back. And ultimately, if the app was working, which unfortunately at the moment it's not working, if my 4G connectivity was working, I would have been able to access the recording remotely as well. So that basically covers the whole device in a nutshell. So installation, pretty easy. The device works flawlessly. It's just this one software update that I've had, and I shouldn't have updated it in hindsight, but I did, and this is the problem that I found. So probably not a very smart move, but anyway, you've got a gist of how to install the device, how to run your cameras, and how to install all the OBDs and the remote, and also how to tap into the auxiliary power as well. So that, I hope, is clear enough. So nevertheless, this is all we have for today, and when I get the cables for the R1250GS Adventure, I will hopefully be able to run you through the whole operation of the device as well. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for staying tuned today. I hope you found this video helpful. Again, I've got my affiliate links below. It would be really great if you would consider using my affiliate links if you decide to purchase the device. And with that, thank you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.